The courtroom door slammed shut behind Isabella Vanderbilt, the echo ricocheting like a gunshot through the marble corridors of the Manhattan Supreme Court. Flashbulbs popped. Reporters shouted. Her father, tech billionaire Alexander Vanderbilt, stood on the courthouse steps, his face carved from the same cold steel as the skyscrapers he owned. "My daughter will learn discipline," he told the cameras, voice clipped final. Isabella, 17, wild-eyed, mascara streaking like war paint, flipped the bird at the swarm and vanished into a black SUV. The judge had just sentenced her to 6 months of community service at St. Agnes Academy, a crumbling public high school in the Bronx, under the supervision of the custodial staff. No bodyguards, no trust fund access, no escape. That was the moment the internet exploded. A grainy video of her meltdown hit TikTok, racked up 40 million views in a day, and birthed the hashtag Billionaire brat. Comments poured in, "She'll quit in a week. Daddy will buy her way out, but she can't even hold a mop." But no one, not the tabloids, not the trolls, not even Alexander Vanderbilt, knew what was coming. If you're already hooked, smash that like button so this story finds more hearts, and hit subscribe with the bell on. You won't want to miss what happens next. The first morning at St. Agnes, Isabella arrived in a chauffeured Maybach, sunglasses the size of saucers, AirPods blasting drill rap. She stepped onto the cracked sidewalk in limited edition Balenciaga sneakers that cost more than the school's annual janitorial budget. The principal, Mrs. Delgado, a woman who'd seen every flavor of chaos in 30 years, pointed to a dented metal door. "Custodial closet, Mr. Rivera will show you the ropes." Mr. Rivera was late. Isabella leaned against the wall, scrolling X, when a little girl, maybe 6 years old, tugged her sleeve. "Are you the rich girl from TV?" the kid whispered, eyes wide. Isabella opened her mouth for a cutting reply, but the girl's backpack was patched with duct tape and her shoes squeaked with holes. Something snagged in Isabella's chest. She crouched. "Yeah, that's me." The girl grinned, missing 2 front teeth, and ran off. Then the janitor appeared. He was pushing 40, broad-shouldered, wearing a faded Yankees cap and a navy jumpsuit with MRIVRA stitched in crooked red thread. A faint scar cut through his left eyebrow. In one hand he carried a mop bucket, in the other a Spider-Man lunchbox. He didn't look at Isabella right away. He was scanning the hallway, counting kids the way a shepherd counts sheep. "Morning," he said finally, voice low, gravelly, like he'd smoked 1,000 cigarettes and regretted every one. "You Vanderbilt." "Isabella," she corrected, chin high. "And I'm only here because some dinosaur judge thinks scrubbing floors builds character." Rivera's mouth twitched, not quite a smile. "Floors don't care who you are, they just get dirty." He handed her a pair of yellow rubber gloves. "Let's start with the cafeteria, milk spill in aisle 3. She followed him, heels clicking like gunfire. The cafeteria smelled of bleach and tater tots. A puddle of chocolate milk had hardened into a skating rink. Isabella stared at the mop like it was radioactive. Rivera knelt, dipped the mop, wrung it with hands that knew the motion by heart. "You ever lose someone?" he asked suddenly. The question blindsided her. "What?" "My wife," he said, eyes on the floor. "Cancer, 2 years ago, left me with Sophia. That's the kid with the duct tape backpack. She's in 1st grade here." He pushed the mop in slow, deliberate arcs. "Grief's like this spill, you don't attack it all at once. You work the edges, little by little." Isabella's arms folded tight across her chest. "I don't do grief." Rivera glanced up. "Everybody does, some just hide it better." If that line hit you in the feels, drop a heart in the comments. Let's keep going. Day 3, Isabella showed up in designer sweats and a scowl. She spent the night doom-scrolling hate comments. "Spoiled, worthless, daddy's mistake." She lasted 20 minutes before hurling a sponge at the wall. "This is pointless," she screamed. "I'm not a maid." Rivera didn't flinch. He picked up the sponge, rinsed it, handed it back. "My daughter thinks you're a superhero," he said. "Saw you on her iPad. She asked if billionaires have capes." Isabella snorted. "Tell her capes are for people who fly away from their problems." Rivera studied her. "You ever think maybe you're the one stuck on the ground?" That afternoon, Sophia waited by the bike rack, clutching a crumpled drawing, Isabella in a cape made of dollar bills mopping up a rainbow. "For you," the girl whispered. Isabella took the paper with trembling fingers. The hate comments blurred behind her eyes. Week 2, the challenges escalated. The school's ancient boiler exploded, flooding the basement with ankle-deep sewage. The city wouldn't fix it for weeks. Classes moved to the gym, tempers flared. Isabella, now on bathroom duty, gagged at the stench. She was ready to bolt, call her dad, stage a dramatic exit, consequences be damned. Rivera found her retching by the dumpsters. "You're not quitting," he said. It wasn't a question. "Watch me." He blocked the gate with the trash cart. "Sophia's class is doing a Thanksgiving play. She's a pilgrim. Costumes due Friday. I'm short on fabric, on time, on sleep. But I'm not quitting because she needs one adult who doesn't disappear." His voice cracked on the last word. Isabella stared at the drawing still tucked in her pocket, now soft from handling. She thought of her own mother, gone since she was 4, a car accident Alexander never spoke of. The mansion had been a museum of silence ever since. She swallowed bile. Fine, but I'm not wearing those stupid gloves. Rivera's grin was small, tired, real. Deal. Comment below, would you have quit, be honest. They worked through the night. Rivera taught her how to snake a drain, how to patch drywall with cardboard and duct tape, how to laugh when the universe kicked you in the teeth. Isabella discovered muscles she didn't know she had and a rage she'd never named. One night, while scrubbing graffiti off a locker, Vandrbilt equals trash, she confessed. My dad thinks money fixes everything, she said, voice raw. When Mom died, he bought me a pony. I was 4, I wanted a hug. Tears mixed with soap suds on the tile. He sent me to boarding schools in 3 countries, said I was too much. Rivera listened without interrupting, the way you listen to a storm. When she finished, he handed her a clean rag. My wife used to say people aren't problems to solve, they're stories to hear. He paused. You're not too much, Isabella, you're just unheard. The next day she showed up early. No sunglasses, hair in a messy bun. She organized the supply closet, color-coded the cleaners, even labeled the mop buckets. The other custodians, Mr. Chen, Miss Lopez, old Mr. Washington, watched in stunned silence. Then came the fire. It started in the art room, faulty wiring, midnight. The alarm shrieked. Rivera was on night shift. Isabella, unable to sleep, had snuck back to finish a mural she'd started on the cafeteria wall, a city skyline where every window glowed with a different kid's dream. She smelled smoke first. She ran. Flames licked the hallway. Sophia's classroom was 2 doors down. Rivera was already there, kicking in the door, coughing, searching. Isabella grabbed the fire extinguisher she'd learned to use the week before. Together they battled the blaze, him shielding her, her pulling him back when the ceiling groaned. They found the source, a forgotten space heater. Isabella yanked the plug, Rivera smothered the flames with a tarp. Sirens wailed, firefighters arrived. The school was saved, but the art room was gutted. Sophia's Thanksgiving costume, half sewn on a table, charred to ash. In the aftermath, reporters swarmed again. This time the headline wasn't Billionaire Brat Meltdown, it was Heiress and Janitor Save Bronx School. Alexander Vanderbilt flew in on his private jet. He expected to collect his daughter, write a check, fly out. Instead, he found her in the soot-streaked gym, surrounded by kids passing out juice boxes. Sophia sat in her lap, wearing an oversized janitor shirt as a dress, beaming. Dad, Isabella said, standing, her voice didn't shake. I'm not coming home, not yet. Alexander opened his mouth, probably to argue, but Rivera stepped forward, cap in hand. Sir, your daughter just saved 23 backpacks, 3 teachers, and 1 goldfish named Bubbles. She's earned the right to finish what she started. Alexander looked at the mural on the wall. The skyline now included a tiny figure in a cape, holding a mop like a sword. His eyes, for the first time in years, softened. The final month blurred into legend. Isabella fundraised, first $500 from selling her designer sneakers on eBay, then $50,000 when the video of the fire went viral. She rebuilt the art room with Rivera, installing new wiring, skylights, a kiln. She taught Sophia to paint. She taught herself to listen. On the last day of community service, the entire school gathered in the cafeteria. The mural was unveiled, the city skyline, but now every window held a portrait, every kid, every teacher, every custodian. In the center, Rivera and Isabella stood side by side, his arm around her shoulders, her head on his chest like a daughter who'd finally come home. Mrs. Delgado handed Isabella a certificate. For exemplary service, she read. The kids cheered. Sophia ran up, arms wide. Isabella lifted her, spinning until they both collapsed laughing. Alexander watched from the back, silent. When it was over, he approached Rivera. Name your price, he said quietly. Anything. Rivera adjusted his cap. Give her the pony back, he said. The one from when she was 4, and maybe show up to her art show next month. Alexander's limo idled outside. Isabella hugged Rivera goodbye. You fixed me, she whispered. No, he said, eyes shining. You fixed yourself, I just held the flashlight. She climbed into the car, but not before turning back. Sophia starts middle school here in 5 years. Save me a mop. Rivera saluted with the handle, always. The Maybach pulled away. Isabella watched St. Agnes shrink in the rearview, cracked sidewalks, duct tape backpacks, a janitor waving from the steps. She rolled down the window, let the Bronx wind whip her hair, and for the first time in 13 years she didn't feel too much. She felt just enough.